Good afternoon, Microsoft 365 Nation. We continue our monthly check-in with our contributors, including the esteemed Frank Ohlhorst that you see on the screen. So, Frank, first of all, for those that don't know who you are, I know you're a well-known quantity, but there are some people that don't know who you are. Please introduce yourself, and then let's have our monthly chat.
Well, that's okay if I'm unknown because I wouldn't remember me either. But that's besides the point. My name's Frank Ohlhorst. I'm a IT journalist and consultant as well as an analyst. And I've written over the years for several different publications. I ran the CRN Test Center for several years. I started up Channel Insider over at eWeek, and I still contribute to a lot of channel publications and a lot of mainstream publications. And my focus has always been on, emerging technology and cybersecurity. So that's my story, sad but true.
Well, and on our site at Microsoft 365 Nation, we've enjoyed your contribution on the post-quantum security that you and I chatted about at IBM Think a couple of months ago. But this month, I want to do a check-in on Azure. So take the talking stick. Let's talk Azure. I think you had one or two points you wanted to surface.
Right. Well, what's interesting with Azure is it's evolving as a service, and they're adding more and more capabilities to what Azure can do. But what's really of interest is this kind of renewed focus towards the small and medium business with some of these services. For example, when you take a look at, the Office 365 offering, Office 365 Business Professional, that's now including some of the elements that allow you to leverage Azure a little better, as opposed to just the traditional OneDrive integration. Now you can start building applications. Now you can start reaching out to things in Azure on that platform, which means that you could see that moving into more of a solution that will fit the mid-sized business. But I think probably what the biggest interesting piece of news right now is Microsoft's push with Azure to bring this idea of a desktop as a service out there. The idea of supporting a remote desktop that runs in the cloud. And it's the next evolution of virtual desktop infrastructure. Infrastructure. So I think that's going to bring a big change to what something like Azure is all about for small and medium businesses. And I think it's heralding a big change in the industry in general of how we're going to start looking at IT support for small and medium businesses and the integrators that perform those. So, what are your thoughts, Harry?
Well, I think transformation would be an understatement. I mean, I think it's a couple of thoughts. Had a couple of interesting conversations already today with some of our contributors, and one was just coming off of the Google show at the Moscone Center down in San Francisco this week. Another was just coming off of Channel Partners in Las Vegas, and very different perspectives, but in particular with Channel Partners, there is going to be, again, an overused word, but transformation that with the sort of this lean desktop paradigm, it could very well be younger people who aren't saddled with both emotional assets and financial liabilities or even assets on their balance sheet. Some of us who come from Big Iron and the server side, it's very hard to pivot over to a lean desktop scenario right up here emotionally, and you also may have investments that kind of demand you got to feed the beast, right? Versus the gentleman was sharing kind of his thought coming out of Channel Partners is the newbies, the youngins, they come in with a whole different balance sheet and they can operate leaner, meaner, quicker. And Frank, that might be it. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, I think there's other things driving this transformation as well. Everything from new tax laws and how they impact small businesses, such
Yeah.
as the ability to write off hardware is being increased and moving away from that depreciation model. On the same end of things, you've got new things in the tax law, such as that 20% pass through for earnings for freelancers and small businesses, and the ability to write off the services around with running that business. So we're seeing a shift from capex to opex that is actually more tax beneficial to a lot of small business owners. And I think,
By the way, I'm making a note. It says taxes. We're coming up on April 15th, so thank you for the reminder.
oh yeah,
No, but Frank, that's a valid point that in some of my past writings, I've tried to weave into the fabric some MBA-isms, or what I like to call pocket MBA-isms, because the MSPs don't naturally think that way, but micro, macroeconomics, injections and leakages, and taxation plays into fiscal policy, right? Absolutely, and that does influence behavior, right? I mean, that's where I believe you're going, but it does, man.
yeah, yeah. It's a new ideology around how to run the IT for a small and medium business. And of course, those small and medium businesses are going to need to turn to, well, let's use the old term, the trusted insider or the consultant or the
No,
expert.
no, don't say the trusted. No, no, not the
Yeah,
trusted business advisor.
yeah. But to make this effective, and I think thanks to what Azure is pushing ahead in the market towards small and medium business, it becomes a foundation to build these vertical solutions for small and medium businesses. So there's a lot of interesting stuff going on, and I think this year we're going to see a lot of change.
Well, and what I want to do next month, and I'm making a couple of side notes, including I need to do my taxes this weekend. But the Frank, what I want to keep doing with you in particular is double clicking down to Azure, because when people think Microsoft 365, you could almost argue technically Azure and Dynamics are not part of the Microsoft 365 stack on the surface. However, they are.
Right.
And so next month let's continue to go down that road. You're the one contributor that you're really passionate about Azure, so I appreciate that. You're the one contributor that goes there. Frank, I want to end on this. So we're sitting here around tax day, as I've alluded to, 2019. What events might someone see you at in the next several months? So do you have a couple on the docket?
Yes, I do. I'm going to be at the Workfront or Workforce event in Dallas next
Okay.
month. I'm going to be at the oh God, Beyond Trust event in Napa in a couple of weeks.
Oh, very nice.
I also have got the Docker Summit coming up,
No kidding.
and
Well,
the
you are running. You're running with the horses, man.
yeah, and the Open Infrastructure Summit, which is in Denver.
Yeah.
So that I've got all coming up over the next month.
Well, I'll end on this, and no, I won't name any names, but a sponsor that you and I both know, a player in the vendor side. On short notice, they announced the other day, could we give them a love tap? Apparently, they have a gathering at the beginning of the month in Amsterdam. And I said, I will give you a love tap if you will fly Jenny and I to Europe to cover it.
Yeah, that's great.
At this late date, that wasn't possible. We still gave them a love tap, but you got to have fun where you can find it, Frank.
Yep, Amsterdam's a beautiful city. I've been there looking at some of the European data center providers, that are building up in that area, and it's actually Amsterdam has become a hotbed of innovation, especially
I
for
did
medium
enjoy that.
businesses in Europe.
Yeah, it was certainly known for what we call coffee houses, but that's a whole other subject. And in fact, we better go. I'm getting the sign from Jenny that I've crossed the yellow line. Frank, have a great month. We'll talk to you next month, my friend.
Same here. Thank you.
All right.